could you briefly introduce yourself and your role in the microdrama industry?
So my name is Sampat Chari. I'm from India, and I have been in the filmmaking. I've been in the film industry for the last 15 years, where I have done conventional films, where I've headed studios, where I've headed platforms in various departments. I started with television, then I ventured into web series, then I ventured into audio shows, heading two of the biggest platforms, in the world. And then I went on to make my own feature films, which was a part of film festivals. And then AI got me excited, this was, I think, 2 years back. And I was really keen on exploring AI and exploring its potential on what it could do. And around the same time, there was this vertical drama boom that was picking up in China. So that's something that I picked up in a market actually in Hong Kong last 2 years back. So I was looking into these markets and the kind of content that they were doing, and vertical dramas were picking up. So I said, why not combine dramas with AI and create a platform for my own stories. And that's how the Pulp House started, my company, which is called the Pulp House. And in the Pulp House, why it's called the Pulp House is because we believe in telling stories that are really bold in their nature. The kind of twists and turns, those 70s pulp, the noir fiction, the kind of work that they used to do. We were very inspired by that. And on the same lines, on the same kind of storytelling, we created our platform called the Pulp House, and we started the whole amalgamation of AI and vertical dramas. So that's where it all began. Yeah. So the first show that I created in AI was called The Dead Soldier, and it gave me some 1300% growth, and everybody was turning and looking at it, and and that's where the collaborations really started. So that's my entry point into vertical space was only through AI vertical dramas. So I think I owe everything to that.
So when you see those microdrama thing, why do you see the potential? What's the potential you see?
So for me, the way we started, I wanted to test it to understand how my IP is. Right. So that was the whole idea of getting into microdrama for me in the first place, because it's a very catchy medium, right? It's a medium where you have 2 minutes and your episode goes away. So you have to grab the attention of the audience. Now, a very important part which often people don't understand is the writing of these microdramas, right? The how do you really craft the cliffhangers, how do you get character progression in place. So it's very important to grab that attention. So our idea was, the approach was to first get that writing correct, and that the further for that was Instagram, because there were not a lot of platforms that were doing that at that point. So we started writing for Instagram and what could grab the attention of the audience, and that became like a very good way for me to test my IPs. So if intellectual property, if I had a show, if I had a character that I wanted to explore, I could make a micro drama out of it, and then to bring it out to the audience. And if the audience really likes it, then I take it, extend the IP to a larger micro drama, or I it out to a platform for commissioning. So that was the idea, which me into microdrama. But as I started writing it, as I started, constructing these worlds and characters and everything, I just fell in love with the format of it. It's really challenging as a writer, and because I started as a writer, so it was a really challenging, medium for me to explore. So that writing part of it got me really excited. That I have to write for attention. That 30-second catch, and plus remain true to the characters and the story and the world.
So what's the difference between traditional film or TV writing and microdrama writing?
It's basically the attention part. It is how fast are you getting to the point. It's you have. So I'll tell you. So in television, when we film school, so there was something called as a hook point, right? So the hook point, if I were to tell you, and give you an analogy, so people used to say the hook point is where you are watching a movie and you suddenly get up like this because of what's happening, right? So it hooks you. So that moment, when the collectively just gets up to see what's happening. Oh my God, what is this happening? That's called a hook point. And in a traditional screenplay, in a five-act structure kind of thing, that hook point comes in somewhere around the 15th minute of the film. If I'm talking about a 2 hour movie, it comes to somewhere around the 15 minute, where you're in the 15 minute establish the characters, you've established the world, and then the 15th minute you have your first, sort of hook point there where you wow, this is something that I want to watch. In microdramas, that has to come in 3 seconds. Literally three. That we don't have the space for 15 minutes for that, because 15 minutes you're talking about 15 episodes, but you have to have your first hook in the first 3 seconds of the then consecutively for every show you have to really have that first 3 seconds right. So I think it's that's very that's you really have get your first 3 seconds correct. I have worked in audio. In audio, the point comes at around 10 seconds when you started listening to it. So you have the Spotify or an Amazon, and you would them, and you'll see that okay, in 10 seconds you kind of got get to the real hook. But it's even less in vertical drama. It's 3 seconds, that you have to really get your this thing. Also, the Instagram algorithm. I mean, if you see Instagram, TikTok, they started this vertical way before it was in the drama format, but you have like a 3 second hook concept even there. So I think that extension really works well in the vertical drama space.
I'm just curious, is there any difference from between writing microdrama, traditional microdrama, real actor microdrama, and AI microdrama?
No. No, it's
Okay.
pretty much the same. Because ever since we started, we were very sure that we are not going to write using AI. So none of our writing is using AI. It's all physical, it's actual writing. So the human part of our AI shows is that we write our own scripts, which is pretty much human, and we edit our own scripts. We don't, we edit our shows. We don't have AI editing, and we don't have AI writing. So these are things that we in mind. So there's no difference as such in both.
So you don't do editing and writing in
Yeah.
AI, right? So
Yeah.
the other parts can be replaced by AI, for example, localization, acting, and visual production.
Correct. That way, but for me, I think the beauty of is that you can tell stories that are very difficult to make in the conventional method. For example, there's fantasy, there's drama, there's a lot of like the Lord of the Rings, and all these big stories that really need a lot of production work, conventional production work. If you were to do this using AI, it just becomes very economic, and it can reach to a larger audience, and it's also faster. Like Lord of the Rings would take years of production, but here in using AI you can do it really fast. The advantage is just in the production time and the production cost. But apart from that, if you see the writing and the editing, that human. If there's no human touch there, it won't be able to give out. And the in as far as the acting part is concerned, we have been very particular about that we have to get the acting correct. You know, so there is motion sensors that we use, there is motion capture that we use, there are very specific acting prompts that we use for getting the kind of performances. So it's not just the character consistency, it's also the consistency that we have followed since the very beginning. Even when all these referencing and these softwares are not there, we were very particular about getting the emotion right. Because it's very easy to make a one-off video in AI, using AI, but get that kind of continuous stretch where people are watching and are getting emotionally invested. That's the challenging part. But that is something that we have been able to do. Yeah.
So your company created Whispervale, one of the first
Yeah.
animated vertical dramas, and what inspired you to create that story, and how has the audience response been so far?
It carries that legacy of traditional animation, but has been done using AI, has been done technology which is emerging. And he had this vision, and I was just a collaborator. I just started to work around the shorts, the stories, and everything, and then everything came together, and I then took the entire project. And I'm directing it, so it's a show. So I've directed it alone. The entire AI generation, the entire editing, everything is done by me. So it's literally production, and it's written by John, of course.
So they wrote the script
They
and
wrote
they
it.
asked you to produce
Yeah.
and they directed.
No, I directed it. So
You,
it's
oh, okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So they gave me the script, and they wanted me to sort of direct it, put it together, using AI. So I created the entire pipeline. How would the characters look? What would the world look? And how would they interact? How is everything going to look like? So basically, they had the paper. I gave them like the entire screen thing, that how exactly that is going to progress. So yeah.
So it's step-by-step process, right? You
Yeah.
create the character and I think they brief you what they want first,
They
right? Or
did.
you
They
want.
did.
Okay.
Yeah. So the process, how it really happens is that he gave me the characters first, and he gave me a brief that it should look like, the kids sort of. So his Tim Burton kind of a thing, like what Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, all these films, how they look like, in stop motion. He gave me a brief of how he would like to take it visually. And then we did a lot of experiments to get the character and the world right. So first was the characters. We created the characters that he had written. All these amazing, there's Leora, there's Mr. Wayne, all these characters. How would they look like? How to certain situation? How would the voice be? So voice casting is another very big, challenge when it comes to vertical dramas. I mean, AI verticals. So we did the voice casting. And after all of that, so this research, this initial, we had the script and the character brief. This initial research took around 10 to 15 days, where we had everything in place. So it is like conventional filmmaking, right? You get the locations, you get the recce, and then put everything together. And then you step by step start building the episodes. So after 15 days of all these work, then we started, creating episodes of Whispervale. So yeah, and now, I mean, after that is done, it takes around 4 to 5 days for me to just create a single episode. So yeah.
Let's pause for a second. A lot of people watch short drama and think this doesn't look that hard. But once you actually try to write one yourself, you realize short drama doesn't written like traditional film or TV. It's product thinking, audience expectation, pacing, and applying logic. That's why we created Short Drama Writing 101, a practical course with real case studies, a self-paced online course with real case breakdowns, scene analysis, and access to our Discord creator community.
How many episodes, how many minutes in total?
So this is 60 episode, 60 part season one. Average per episode is 1.5 to 2 minutes. So it is a little more than 90, upwards of 90 minutes.
90 minutes. You said 15 days to
10 days was pre-production. Yeah, once we had the pre-production sorted, then it took us like, now we are in the episode. So it took us 6 months, 6 to 7 months to do it.
Oh, that's quite a long time, 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's very premium one.
Also, in the process of making this show, there was a lot of changes that happened in the software as well. So we had updates from the we had updated technology. So where we started in October, yeah, September, October, and now where we are in terms of the tech, in terms of the development that everything has had. So it has taken us a of time to get that. So there are you won't need that kind of high technology to do something that you've already done in October. So we don't have to repeat those episodes. So we have to maintain the whole visual continuity. We have to maintain the language. We have to maintain everything. So that is sort of a back and forth that goes into.
At that time, are you using what kind of model are you using? It's before C Dance 2 or after?
It's before C Dance 2. We have
Oh,
been
I
like
see.
way before C Dance 2. We started with like a very basic VEO model, which was I think they'd just come up with that, last year, October. And Kling and image generation. We have multiple softwares to create images, and we have been currently doing it like for the first 2 to 3 months we did it manually. We did a good part of it manually because we wanted to get the characters right, and then now we are moving towards automation slightly as the technology develops. But no seed dance. We have not used seed dance in this particular show.
I interviewed other Chinese AI microdrama platform before. Not interview, I talked to them. They say after C Dance, it's like they save half of time. Isn't I'm not sure. Are you using C Dance right now? Are there
I
any
do.
models?
I do, but I don't use it for Whispervale. Whispervale is a very, how do I put it? It's a very manually, made with a lot of love. We are gotten into complete automation for Whispervale, particularly because it's something that is very close to all our hearts. Like me, John, everybody is very, closely attached to it. My editor Rakesh, so we are all very closely attached to it. So that's why we don't really we keep it to ourselves and we keep it do it very manually. So if you see all the shots, and that's the premium quality. That's where the premium quality really comes out. Because I'm sure she Dance does a great job, but to get that pipeline right, to get everything right, because now Whisperville, the pipeline is set. Now we are able to do the episodes faster. So I think hopefully in season two we'll be able to deliver episodes much faster. But for season one, we had to start manually because there was no automation, there was no seed dance, there was no all of so what started then has to continue, right? Visually also. So that's why.
What kind of AI tool are you using? I'm just curious.
Create pipelines. So for example, I mean the way it is that once we have the script, according to the script, we create the pipeline. We don't have a common pipeline for all the scripts. So apart from Whispervale, there's another science fiction show that I've done using AI. That was a more realistic microdrama, and it is I mean it's yet to be released. So I can't disclose much about it, but that's another show that I've done. So for that, I had used a certain different set of pipelines. So for example, people often say that VO is great or Google is great for image generation or video creation. Sometimes it's just you just have to create images using VO and do the automation in Clink, for example, right? So that really depends on what is the kind of show that you require, because every model every doesn't give the same kind of output for everything. So for will we had image using Chat GPT and VO, and we animated using Flow. I mean the VO platform. So it's all Google and Chat GPT. So these are the two softwares that we use for this one. So it's a very basic software, basic pipeline thing, and that's why it's so effective.
You mentioned before that you are focusing on building
Yeah,
scalable
yeah,
AI-powered storytelling format for global
correct,
short drama and streaming platforms. So what
correct.
does scalable actually mean in this context? Do you think AI will mainly reduce production costs, or will you fundamentally change how short dramas are created, produced, and distributed?
So there are two steps of looking at this particular situation. What I mean by scalable is that at one point we will have micro dramas which are completely automated. Right, we don't need. And when I say automated, even Whispervale was created by me alone, right? So the time that it's taking for me to create this show, almost a 6 month, 8 month, that would be significantly reduced with the automation that we are doing currently. We are in the process of doing a research on that, on how to exactly get the automation right. But what's the interesting part about our automation or what we are currently doing, that is automation with director in at the center of it. And when I it's not that everything going to look the same. It is going to be a very directorial approach to making microdrama. So if a director has a unique voice, if he has a unique visual sensibility, that visual sensibility should would be shown in that microdrama, and it would be made much faster with the automation. Once we deploy the automation software, I think we are like a 40-45 microdramas per month. That's the speed that we are looking at. But at the center of it is still the creator, because we'll reduce the production timing as well. But at the center of it is would be the vision of the director, which is like which extent I think is getting lost in this whole clutter of microdrama. But what we are trying to do is we are trying to keep the director at the it's still it, because every visual medium is a director's medium. It is his vision, it is his understanding of the material, it is his understanding of acting. So I think if the director is taken away from the equation, everything just looks the same. And we don't want to do that. We want to have directors still at the control of it.
So according to you, if I'm right, so director is in the center of the AI market drama, right? In the whole team, director is the most important person.
Yeah, yeah, yes. He's the one who is, getting the 3 minute, 3 second stuff right. He's the one who are actually getting the right. Because without the director, it just goes away. Because then we are not doing scripts. Then we are not doing micro. Then we are just serving a reel series, for example, right? And we don't want to do that. It's a very I would AI, and with the kind of automation and with the kind of micro drama that everybody is doing, the director is kind of getting sidelined, which is not happening in case of Whispervale or something that we are doing, because we at the center of the vision is still me and John, like who the human element to the microdrama, to the AI aspect of it. So I think that still remains at the center of our philosophy, that director has to be the real creator, the real driving force behind it.
What about writer? I think they're equally important, or no?
Of course, the writer and director. So the John is the writer, I'm the director. So we collaborate and everything comes together. That's how But I would say when it comes to the execution part of it, and that's why there is a distinction between the writer and the director. I started as a writer. I have now transitioned into directors, and there are writers who want to write throughout. So if a writer doesn't have a good director with him to take the microdrama or to take the story ahead, then it just becomes a good story wasted. So for me, that's like when a writer with a great script with a great idea, and he or she they give it to a right director. The director sort of drives that vision. And it's in films. You can have a great script, but if the director is not good, or if it's not a well directed film, it all goes down. So I think as the directors are empowered, the writers equally get empowered. So I think that's the synergy. At the end of the content belongs to everybody. It belongs to the writer, it belongs to the director, it belongs to the actor. But at the center of it, the creator, the visionary who is actually creating the entire world, who's driving the force ahead, that has to be the call has to be taken by that one person who is the director, the captain of the ship, basically.
I also have a question because it happened in China. In a few Chinese company, they kind of steal production company. They steal people's image from Chinese TikTok and use them in AI macro drama, and they cause a lawsuit. I'm not sure. I'm still observing the result. See the result. So, what do you see? This
So, I mean, in India also those lawsuits have happened. In India, there is a lot of those are booked and with actors and even entrepreneurs. Like everybody who has a unique personality, they get their personality rights booked. It's a wrong way of doing things. I mean, getting people's image without authority. It's a very wrong precedence that we are setting. And I'm completely with the actors who are actually doing it. I support them who are actually taking these steps against these companies, against these giants. But we also have to. I mean, in India especially, they have found out a way to actually preserve their personality rights and to so that people are not misusing it. So that is something that has already happened and it is already happening around the globe. An interesting part about AI and how we can really collaborate in terms of with real actors is the fact that there is a very new technology, there is a new way of using AI that is using VFX, right? And here we have done some really incredible work with actual actors in actual green screen and with the background change and everything, and the actor still remains, his or her voice still remains there, and they are performing, they are acting, but it's more in a very concise, precise way, that you have the real actors actually performing and the VFX just doing the other manual or the roto work of it. So I think that's something that the industry is naturally moving towards. And we just have to wait and watch that where this tide really takes us. Because there's no concrete answer on as to how do we stop these giants who have so much, legal power and legal support to stop doing it. A way to do it is take your personality rights and preserve it right in the beginning. But once that has already been breached, it's very difficult to actually fight them. So I am in complete agreement with the kind of protest and the kind of pushback that the actors are doing, because I completely support those creators. But we'll have to wait and watch as to how these things are going to really happen. As for our shows, we are very particular that we are not using any real characters because most of our work is animated. So we don't really have, we are in that sweet spot of, and I started as an animation, with the animated IPs. So we are we are not really, tampering with the new actors. And I mean, everybody would have a problem when their job is at stake. So I think it's fair of them to actually revolt against it.
because those cases they were stealing ordinary people's not it's more influencers face. Not they're
Mm.
not like celebrity or those big actors. They're stealing their image from Chinese TikTok, some video clips.
Yeah, and because see, at the end of the day, it is data, right? It's not creating, AI doesn't create anything on its own. It's data been fed to it. Um, and uh, and I know to some point, at some point this is going to be bigger in terms of actors revolting and actors, not just actors, like anybody who has a little power would actually go and sue these companies. But I'm not sure how successful they're going to be in that, because it's right, copyright is in a very gray area in every country, not just China or India, but it is in that currently in the area. So a good way to go about it is do work with animated things. Don't really get the real people. I mean, it's very difficult to actually, some everything looks like something in AI. that's the everything that you generate would look like somebody, because it's definitely not new images. It is deriving from data.
Because one of my writer, an Australian writer, and she used her own face and generate her own AI image and shoot a microdrama, like 1, 2 episodes something. But somehow they claim it looked like some celebrity,
Yeah.
although it's using her own face to generate.
So there is a prompt guide to it. So for example, if you an image and you prompt it in a way that this is my image, make an avatar, because I've been doing a lot of spoof video that I have my own face on, right? It refuses to do it because there's no eye, you can't replicate image there. But yeah, so Google has been very strict about with Flow and Gemini. They are like very strict about usage of minors, below the age of 18. You can't really have anybody, you can't have characters mentioned that way. You can't have famous personalities. They don't take it. So I think Google has been really stringent with it. The other company that really does a good job with that is Adobe. They are somebody who has they have figured it.
How do you see the future relationship between AI creators, platforms, and entertainment industry?
It is going to be creator-led at the center of it, because see, when something is so flooded, because it's not just me, there are of people who are actually working at this intersection of AI and verticals, right? But what's really setting everything apart is what is the story, and what is at the center of it. And at the center of it is always going to be that real human emotion. If you're getting the story right, if that vision of taking the story to somewhere, then that will that is going to be the more popular kind of because at some point there is going to be that stagnation. Everything is going to be the next billionaire romance. Everything is going to be, so it is really about how distinct your content is with respect to any other any other thing that is already on the platform, and how controlled is the IP? That is again a very important discussion nobody has, in this space currently. We need to have control over intellectual property, which is very it's that nobody's about. The discussion is somewhere in the air. But we have to find a way to have control authority over the intellectual property, and that is the synergy that would go on. You create these high, and that's exactly what happened with Wattpad, or the other so now currently billionaire romance, for example, or werewolf stories. These were at times some small contained novel in somebody's book, right? And then they came up and everybody started consuming them, and then now they become like, it's not just an IP, it's a complete system that is working on these stories. So I think that new kind of storytelling also has to emerge in the market. And there would platforms who are ready to show this to people, and the new wave of storytelling, which is not just dependent on the current trend that is going on, but has a new voice, has a new say in terms of story. I think that would be really the and has control of the intellectual property. That is going to be the bigger uh no, so that's going to be a bigger revolution that's going to happen here.
Yeah, I might tough question based on your answer. So some people might argue that those are not performed by real actors, those AI microdramas. How can they have the real person connection?
They can, they can. So we can actually real people, and that is something that we are very, aggressively working on. You can have real people work on a set which is AI created. That is something that's happening. And once that happens, the questions will be answered. These questions of these questions of personality rights, these questions of somebody's avatar being created, and then AI working on those will be answered once we have this technology where you have actual actors working on sets and backgrounds that are made using AI, and created using that. So till then, we'll have to unfortunately wait for that to come in, or the right kind of combination to really work for us. And I think that is again, it's not far away. It's honestly not far away. We are like sitting at the precipice of it.